Good morning, everyone. I'll call the meeting of the NCAC meeting, December 9th, 2023 meeting to order. It's 10:01 a.m. Agenda is not jam-packed today. We're hoping to I think it's a Saturday when everybody might have commitments. I know I do, and so hopefully we can get this meeting in and not have it go exorbitantly long. So we're going to appoint a parliamentarian. I don't, Michael Beachley or Nancy have been, Michael's our typical parliamentarian. Is Michael here today?
Does not look like Michael is here.
Okay.
Maybe we could, if he or Nancy shows up, maybe
Okay.
then we can appoint the parliamentarian.
Okay. Okay.
And let's just go ahead and do the agenda change, like by
Yeah.
assent.
Yeah. So we have a request from Randall for not an agenda change, a change in the order of the agenda. Randall is experiencing some kind of a water issue at his house, which isn't surprising, I guess, given the amount of rain we've had. So he's asked if he could move his agenda item, which is number 8 on the agenda now, up on the agenda, and we thought we could move it to actually number 6 on the agenda, so right after the treasurer's report. I guess that's a question for those who are at the meeting at this point. If folks who are at the meeting are okay with that, the meeting's being recorded, so there is a recording of this, but
it should just be a 5-minute.
Yeah, okay.
Reading.
Okay, a 5-minute. Thanks, Randall. So those are present. I don't know, how should we do that vote? Just a thumbs up, Jeff, or something like that?
Well,
Okay.
well, Nancy is now here, but I would say if anyone objects, say so, and if no one objects, then it's passed. Is that good, Nancy? Nancy's nodding, so.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's go with that. If anyone objects, then. And I don't hear anybody objecting. So we'll move Randall up to right after the treasurer's report then, Randall. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, conflict of, is Nancy, I'm wondering if Nancy's on yet. Nancy?
Yeah, Nancy's on.
Okay, Nancy. Yeah. Nancy, would you be okay stepping? We don't see Michael here as a parliamentarian for this meeting today. Would you be okay with that?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Okay, conflict of interest question for officers. For today, I have no conflicts of interest. Alex?
Good morning, and no conflicts of interest.
Okay, Chris?
None here.
Okay, and then Jeff?
None here.
Okay. All right, the October 14th meeting minutes. I think we've talked about this in the past, how to approve these. I'm just going to read what I've got here, and we'll just we'll try and do this consistently from now on. It says a formal, and Nancy, please correct me if I'm wrong on this, but a formal motion to approve the minutes of a previously held meeting is usually not necessary. Approval can be handled by unanimous consent. The chair should ask, are there any corrections to the minutes? After all corrections have been offered, the chair then asks, are there any further corrections? If none are offered, then the chair states, there being no further corrections, the minutes stand approved as read.
As either read or corrected.
As either read or corrected. You're right, Nancy. Okay. So we'll follow. I've been remiss at following that process, and today I'd like to be consistent about following that. So I guess the question is, are there any corrections to the minutes? And I don't hear any. So there being no further corrections, the minutes stand approved as read. And so we'll.
And Mark,
yeah.
Speak. I see Michael has joined us, so
okay.
I can give up my temporary parliamentarian position in favor of Michael taking over.
Thank you, Nancy. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Michael. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. On to the next item, the treasurer's report. Chris?
Yes, and I apologize for not having my camera on. It's 5 o'clock in the morning here. I don't think you want to see my face at this time, but so we've had 3 charges since we last met. All of these are recurring charges, annual recurring charges. One was for $150, which is our annual Zoom renewal for our webinars, which allows us to meet virtually. The second one was for $72, and it was for Squarespace. And it's our email campaign that allows for our email blasts. And the last charge was for $252. That was also for Squarespace, and that's our annual renewal for our NCAC website. So our current balance as of today is $560. And we've had no contributions or donations during the period. So, Mark, that's all I have from a treasury perspective. Any questions?
Chris, how much money do you need in a year to make budget for all the charges that are incurred? Since it's kind of the end of the year, you need contributions to make budget?
Well, we could always accept contributions or donations. But the fourth quarter, which we're in right now, is when most of these annual charges hit. So, yeah, most of the significant charges for us have already been paid, and we won't experience many more charges until this time next year.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Good question. Thank you, Chris. Okay, notices from Tillamook County. I have just one to read. With all of the rains and the flooding that's happened recently in Nescowan and in the county, a question came up from a community member about the access to the bridge, the egress bridge in the village. And I was able to contact Chris Lady, and then James Oder, the fire chief, also weighed in on how that road is accessible or not, depending on flooding. And so I'll just read what Chris sent me when I asked him. He said the gates will remain unlocked, and we can open the gates when access across the Salem Avenue Bridge is not a viable option. The new road is not 2 lanes and serves as an egress route only. He said, please call Public Works, and the number is 503-842-3419. We'll try and put this on the website for the community, this comment. Please call that number if the gates need to be open during business hours between 8 and 4. That's from Chris Lady, Director, Tillamook County Public Works. And then on that same email, he CC'd James Oder, the fire chief, Nestucca RFPD. And James said, provided his office number, 503-392-3313. Said, my cell is listed in the email. If it is after hours and a need for it to be open, we can help also. So, that's what I was able to find out about access to this, the egress road during these times. Again, we'll put this we'll have this on the website. So community members, I did ask Chris, he said, is there a designated person that has to call to ask for the gates to be open? And he said, no, a community member can call us. So it's not as if there's just one designated person, is my understanding, that would request that. So, so that's the one announcement I have. I don't, or any questions about that one? Okay. I don't.
So Mark.
Yes.
Well, first, very quickly, I'll say we have no land use announcements from the county, but we screwed up and we didn't give Rand his item. So maybe because
I'm
Sarah
sorry.
is now
I'm
here.
sorry. Okay.
But maybe
Yeah.
we should let Rand go and then.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rand. I rolled right into that. So yes, let's go ahead. Go ahead, Rand.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
sorry.
So I'm reporting on the Community Plan Steering Committee as an update. The steering committee has had 2 meetings, and I'll just share this by reading the narrative for it. The Community Plan Steering Committee, created by the NCAC to facilitate the revision of our current community plan, which was written in 1996 to 2000, met for the first time October 13th, 2023 via Zoom. As a note, all steering committee meetings are announced in advance and open to the public. The steering committee members were approved by the NCAC membership at the September 12th, 2023 NCA meeting. The committee members include Lynn Paxton, Lori Kovac, Kat Norland, Guy Sievert, and Randall Cook. At the October meeting, all steering committee members attended, as did Sarah Absher, Director of Community Development for Tillamook County, Hillary Gibson, and Roger Wickland. The committee members agreed on Randall Cook as the chair of the steering committee. Housekeeping and protocols for public meeting law compliance were major topics. Communication and transparency are paramount to the process of revising the community plan. The more folks that engage and read up and study the information and attend the general meetings, the better our community plan will be. Public participation is the #1 state goal for land use planning. To communicate information with our constituents, we agreed to share the minutes of the steering committee on the NCAC website and provide updates in the NCA newsletters and the annual NCA, that's NCA, Nesquin Community Association meetings at the Nesquin Fire Hall in May and September. Rand will write, based on committee edits, the story for the newsletter and report at the 2 NCA meetings. I'll note here that those responsibilities may rotate as time goes by amongst the committee members. Sarah Absher, Community Development Director for Tillamook County, explained her role in the revision of the Nesquin Community Plan. Sarah is responsible for the revised Nesquin Community Plan, together with consultants provided by a grant from the State of Oregon Land Use Board. Sarah will help facilitate community plan public meetings, and together they will advise the steering committee on the specific language required to meet a new state law regarding middle housing, which is Senate Bill 406, SB 406, into our revised community plan. Clarification was sought from the Tillamook County Council as being the attorney, regarding the protocol for the committee to work within public meeting law. That protocol will be posted on the NCAC website, and the committee will function within that framework to assure the community that their work is transparent and available to all. At the end of the meeting, the steering committee assigned itself to 1, review the current community plan before the next meeting and highlight areas that need updating at the November 27th, beginning at the November 27th meeting. 2, review the implementing ordinances for Nesquin, R1, R3, RR, that's rural residential, to better understand basic development standards. And 3, review the existing community plan survey that was created over the last 3 years and peer reviewed this past summer and recommended to be approved for use by the NCAC. The committee scheduled meetings for November 27th and December 11th at 2 p.m. So the next meeting, all steering committee members attended the November 27th meeting. Also attending was Jeff Weitzel, who as NCAC secretary facilitated as an officer both diplomatically and technically. Nancy Vandell, who provided in-house parliamentary assistance, and Sarah Absher, Director of Community Development, who attends meeting to oversee and support the work of the steering committee. No other people attended. Sarah Absher provided that she had not been able to meet with County Council and would bring public meeting protocols to the December 11th meeting. This tabled 2 agenda items until the December 11th meeting. Many housekeeping issues were discussed, including meeting every 2 weeks on Mondays for 2 hours, the exception being the holiday season that will skew that schedule. But beginning in January, we will get back to meetings every 2 weeks on Monday at 2. All those meetings will be announced and available on the NCAC website. We discussed using surveys and questionnaires to gather information from the Nesquin constituency. Sarah agreed to provide examples of short questionnaires that other communities have developed for our committee to review. We want to create a short form of inquiry to get us a basic reading of the community as a starting point in our process. The existing survey that the NCAC developed over a 3-year period and includes over 15 informational town halls is also in play. It will be used at a point in the process, both as a survey and an educational tool to engage the community and develop basic quantitative data. The importance of the existing community plan was discussed, and people are encouraged to read and better understand the plan. The committee assignments at the end of the meeting, the committee agreed again to review the community plan as it currently exists and return to our next meeting with the following assignment. List 10 items in the current community plan that may be questionable or may not reflect current practices, and bring this to the December 11th meeting. Steering committee encourages people to attend or view recordings of the meetings, which are available on the NCAC website. There you go. That's my report.
Thank you, Randall.
You're welcome.
I don't know if anybody has questions for Randall or the committee at this time.
Okay.
I don't see any. So thank you very much, Randall. And
Well, thank you for setting me ahead in the agenda so I can
Good.
get to my work today.
yeah, good luck. Okay.
My
Good
family
luck with your
thanks.
house. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Randall. Okay. All right. Let me go back to now notes from Tillamook County. So not on the agenda. Well, it's under the notes, but Sarah Absher has asked for just a few moments to talk about the STR CAP committee or group or process. Maybe that's a better word. Sarah, are you available?
Good morning, Mark. I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. I apologize for not turning my camera on. I am having some internet issues, and if I leave it off, then I can talk without interruption. So yes, good morning, everyone. Nice to see you. Wanted to just check in with the CAC about an upcoming meeting to discuss and evaluate the cap that is currently established for the Nesquin community that limits the percentage and number of short-term rental licenses that can be available for the Nesquin sub area. Talked about this a little bit at a couple of previous meetings. Wanted to check in and see if there were individuals in the community that had reached out to Mark so that we could put a working group together to start looking at the cap. So this process will not consider any other of the Ordinance 84 regulations regarding licensing for short-term rentals. It will just focus on the cap percentage. So two things I talked to Mark about was the STR committee, if it made more sense to have that subcommittee jump in and start the conversation with me. If there would be an opportunity to expand that to include new members of the community or additional members of the community that were interested in participating in the initial conversations, or if we wanted to keep this as a higher community discussion as a whole. There will be some work that will go into this. So just wanted to reach out and work with Mark to see how the community felt about those options.
Okay, I haven't had anybody contact me to say that they would be interested in being involved in this, Sarah. I'm not sure. I guess I had thought maybe we would be sending out an email through our to the members that would be an informative email about this group being formed, and that would be sort of an invitation for each of the members, if they were wanting to be involved in this process. Is that possible?
Thank you, Mark. Yes, it absolutely is.
Okay.
That is something I can definitely put something together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I
think
had a
that,
question.
oh, go ahead, Tom.
The idea is looking at the cap. Does that imply trying to raise it, lower it, keep it the same? It was not clear to me what the purpose of looking at the cap was.
Thank you, Tom. That's a great question. I appreciate you asking for that clarification. Yes, the conversation will be exactly that. Is the cap percentage set at an appropriate level? Is it too high? Is it too low? There's been a lot of conversation about whether or not the condos should be subject to the cap. Should we take them out? And so those are the things that I would like to visit with the community about.
Great, thank you.
I'm going to jump in here, Mark, if that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
just sort of thinking
Go ahead.
about this from a Oregon public meeting law standpoint. And Sarah, I'm going to defer to you on that because you know much more about that than I do. But it seems like even the decision to whether to create a new committee, whether to hand this to the STR committee, whether to have a big community meeting, like that's one of those decisions that has to be happen in public, and we didn't know about this, so this wasn't on the agenda, and we didn't notify people that would be talking about this today. So I'm wondering how much we can do without like having like talking about this discussion about how to move forward about the cap in a public meeting. So
thank you, Jeff. So a couple of things on that. There are 21 sub areas that are part of the short-term rental licensing program. Not all have a formalized committee or advisory committee. So I will be doing it differently in each one.
mm-hmm.
If the CAC, this is not a land use matter, right? But if you wanted to use the subcommittee, you are correct. It should go back on the agenda, and it should be something that the CAC discusses possibly at the next meeting. With that, it would be a recommendation from the community that I would take to the Board of County Commissioners,
right?
Because ultimately they still are the decision maker in that. This gives us an opportunity to work together to provide input to that decision that they would make. So I think part of it too depends on, I mean, to me, it makes the most sense to utilize the CAC. understanding it is not land use, but many of you have seen the board order. There are occasions where the CAC can participate in other matters that are of interest to the board. This is one of those. So we could table this for the next agenda if you think that would be appropriate.
So I have a proposal, like either we could let it go for all the way until February, which maybe is okay, or we could schedule a special meeting in January specifically for this topic, which I'm sure will be very well attended. So probably like putting that forward, we probably do want to have a special meeting because like it will, like we always know that like STR meetings get a lot of attendance, and it's probably better to have it separated off so it doesn't eat our whole February meeting, and then like just have the discussion in public, and if we can come to a consensus in that meeting where you feel like you have the input you need to move forward, then great, and if not, then we can we can figure out in that meeting what the next steps are.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I'm having a special meeting in Neocani. They don't have a CAC yet, but we are putting together an online virtual meeting for their community in January. I would be happy to work with you and Mark to do the same.
I think that sounds good. I think
do we want to set a date
go ahead.
now in public? Like should we do it a Tuesday night? Like that's just usually when our special meetings are.
I can make a Tuesday night work.
Okay, and 16th. I just picked one in January, so
Sounds fine.
Let me see what hang on just a sec, Jeff. Let me make sure I don't have a conflicting. That should be fine. But let me just double check here. That'll work. I'm going to put it on my calendar right now.
Okay, so special meeting on the 16th to discuss the STR cap, and I think the agenda is going to be pretty vague. Like we're just going to let you run the meeting, Sarah, and if we've determined in that meeting that we're not done and we need to have a more rigorous process, then we'll go from there.
Perfect. And what time?
I think that's it. Oh yeah. Is it 7, Jeff?
Yeah, 7 p.m. or like that's just when we usually do it. So
yeah.
So
great.
Yeah. So 7 p.m. on Tuesday the 16th.
Okay. So Sarah, would you still send an email so we can get that out to members so they're aware of that?
Yes, I would be happy to. And just following the comments in the chat.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that should be considered at that meeting is, and I can talk about the cap, I can give information. I think maybe what would be helpful for me from the CAC is, do you want to use the committee, the STR committee? I think it's going to take a couple of work sessions to get through a recommendation for the board. And that recommendation should go back through the CAC before I take it to the board, because they're going to want to know if the CAC had an opportunity to look at that. So I would say this is not our only meeting. This is probably the first of a few.
Right.
So I think deciding how you want the structure to be as far as community involvement will be very helpful for me.
Right. Okay. So yes, Sarah, I think there'll be other meetings like you've said. I don't know. I think at the first meeting we'll see interest after the emails go out. I do see Hillary and Tom in the side here have expressed interest in that. And
as has Liz.
So I think we get to that first meeting in January and we see who's interested, and like Jeff said, it'll probably be kind of a vague agenda. We'll just see what formulates between now and then, and then hold that first meeting on the 16th.
That sounds great. And it's on my calendar. And we do have another storm coming in. There are many of us at the county that are getting ready for that storm. There's going to be maybe some tidal impacts to the storm that's coming in next that we didn't have before. But Mark, I will get that email to you, and I have a lot of homework for the other committees. So
Yeah.
just quickly, I'm sorry I couldn't get that
Yep.
stuff to you this last week, but it's coming. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah. Thank you for all your good work, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. Before we go on to the next agenda item, Hillary's got a good question here. Is there a sign on the egress gate with phone numbers to call to open in case of an emergency? That's a really good question. And let me follow up on that for everybody with Chris at the county. So,
Mark, I think I have an email from Chris too, because I was actually
Okay.
talking to him this
Okay.
morning about the egress.
okay.
I will drop that information in the
Okay.
chat so you can keep moving forward with your meeting.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Notices from Tillamook County. The next item is discuss scheduling executive meetings and possible meeting date in January. So the idea of an executive meeting is really to do sort of some nuts and bolts things is really the focus of it. It is it's a public meeting where the officers can meet to talk about agenda items for upcoming meetings. We are considering what we'd like to do is expand that to the chairs of committees also attending so that we have a public forum to talk to each other. It's difficult with Oregon public meeting laws for us all to talk now. We have to do that in public session. And it's the idea of the executive meeting is to get some nuts and bolts things done in preparation for meetings. I think, Jeff, if you have anything to add to that, or Nancy.
Yeah, sure. And Nancy, this idea originated with the bylaws committee and probably with Nancy specifically. So Nancy should also jump in if she wants. But just to follow on what Mark said, it's a common practice to have an executive meeting, like via Robert's Rules of Order, to have an executive meeting, which is like the officers and the board chairs or the committee chairs, to have kind of discussions at a level of detail that are not necessarily of interest to the whole community, so that the general meetings can be used to communicate important things and discuss important matters with the whole community. And the executive meeting can basically be used to plan that session. And it's also a public meeting, so anyone can come, but fewer people are likely to be interested in coming because it's really just kind of, as Mark said, nuts and bolts. And I believe the bylaws committee is interested in institutionalizing this in the bylaws, but in the meantime, I felt like it would be a good idea to have some of these meetings, like not informally, but just on an ad hoc basis, or on a not official base, not in the bylaws basis, so that we can kind of work out the kinks before we write it down and say these are the rules about how it works. So if that seems like, if no one has a strong objection to that, I think we should schedule such a meeting in January to prepare for the February meeting. So, Nancy, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you've summarized it well. That can be really productive, and particularly even more so, I think with Oregon public meeting law, it just becomes quite cumbersome to contact each individual person and then recontact, and then they contact individually. This is something where I think work can be done expeditiously and publicly and still be more productive for the general meetings. So thank you for considering doing it before we even get to it in the bylaws.
And I guess we should just ask if anyone has any comments about that, and if not, we'll pick a date. Tom raised his hand.
Yeah, I may have missed it. Will such meetings be public?
Yes.
Okay. Then it's a good idea.
Okay, not seeing any objections or other questions to it. Let's go ahead and set a date in January.
So the February meeting is the 10th, and the 27th is 2 weeks before that, but we went 3 weeks because we need the notice needs to go out 2
Okay.
weeks before. So well, what day of the week do we want? Like
So on Mondays, I have school board meetings, so Mondays.
okay, so not Mondays. I guess I would just say Tuesday again, because that seems to work well, but we really can pick any time we want that seems like a good time. So
Can I just
Tuesday
make
the 20.
a suggestion that you
Sure.
consider it as a regular monthly meeting, 1 to 2 weeks before the general meeting, so that you
Yeah.
would even you'd have one an off month, but you could still be looking at getting input from committees like our bylaws committee, and everybody would have a chance to, all the members would have a chance to go in, but you'd actually have a monthly meeting.
Do we want to make that official and have a meeting every month going on? Mostly officers and Michael's raising his hand.
Yeah, I have no objection whatsoever. In fact, I think it's a good idea, but remember that it is only unofficial at this point because there's nothing in the bylaws that actually define or characterize or organize such a meeting. The bylaws committee will certainly be discussing it, and we will be pleased to hear what this group has to say about such an organization. You might also indicate in your call for the meeting what particular persons are key and central to such a meeting, so that everybody knows, particularly those individuals, but other people who want to join as well.
Yeah, we'll be doing this under the auspices of the special meeting provision in the bylaws. But other officers in particular, and also we lost Rand, so actually we don't know if he's going to be able to make it. But someone from that committee can show up. I think let's just schedule it 1 for now, and I think definitely having at least 1 before each general meeting is a good idea, and probably having 1 every month is a good idea. But officers, like, what's your thought? Should we just schedule 1 until
let's schedule one. Let's schedule one for
Okay.
right and get to that
Okay.
meeting. We can, yeah.
Tuesday the 23rd at 7?
Yep, that works.
Fine.
Okay, and okay, nods from Alex. Is that good, Nancy?
Yeah.
Okay. Tuesday the 23rd at 7. See you all then.
Okay.
So,
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Let's see, executive meetings. Let's see, we're down to the last agenda item for today, which is a bylaws committee update. And I believe Nancy's got a bit of an update for us today.
Yeah, thank you very much. Am I going to be able to share the screen, Jeff?
let me make that
Not at the moment. I texted,
possible.
but
Okay, try now.
okay. Yep. Thought I had it all set up so that it was just one thing showing up, but no. And all these things closed, so why are they showing up? I have a whole presentation here. Tom, would you be able to go into our meetings file under 1219, the 12/9 meeting, and pull that up, please? I'm putting Tom on the spot because he can always
Okay,
find
all right,
everything and
well-
I can't find it
I'll check it out.
on my desktop here. Oh, wait, I got it. I got it. Okay.
Okay. I'm off the hook.
So let me do this. Can everybody see this presentation here?
Yep.
Okay, good. I actually did it. Sorry about that. Okay. So I'm going to do this as quickly as possible. I just want to introduce our committee. A lot of our members are here. I'm the chair. Michael Beachley, as well as being a terrific parliamentarian, is our scribe. Tom Sipe is our editor and just extraordinary committee member. A lot of what you're going to see today, he has originated and has just, I can't say enough about you, Tom. So, and then Wyatt Angelo, Bill Miller, and new member Susan Schoenberg are all just fabulous members. Everybody, we just have a terrific committee. And I have to thank Jeff for a lot of support on the website and various communications. And Sarah has been an ad hoc member of our committee on coming to many of our members. And Sarah, we so appreciate all your input. We've been meeting twice a month, the first and third Fridays from 9:30 to 11 recently. We've had 7 meetings so far. We've tried to work on being very transparent, and I'll go into some of that, but you can see our documents and videos posted in various places on the website. We went through this the last meeting, but for those of you who weren't there, our goal is to review, reformat, and update bylaws for clarity, functionality, and fairness. And we are striving quite hard to be transparent, supporting Oregon public meeting law, providing opportunities for member input. So in terms of that opportunities, you're welcome to attend our meetings. They're first and third Fridays of the month from 9:30 to 11. And a number of you have been attending, including Roger and Hillary and Tom. We also have opportunities through documents and input form, and we'll be having special bylaws review meetings, key points. At the last NCAC meeting in October, we received a general approval from all of you from the process that we defined in the meeting. We numbered the existing bylaws that were not numbered. Again, this is Tom's side, mapping to Robert's Rules of Order format to be consistent with what is standard for all sorts of different committees and organizations. We made editorial changes, and we had an initial list of substantive changes to consider. And we got very positive feedback from you, so thank you. So going forward, since the last meeting, we, meaning Tom, has developed a document naming standard, as well as a document management system. And all of these versions are available on the document repository. So I'm going to stop sharing this one right now and go to the next one here. And nope, just stopped completely, didn't it? Okay. Where am I guess I shouldn't try to be fancy. I was going to show you the document naming standard. Well, heck. I just completely get out of it. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, I'm just, am I sharing still?
Just yourself.
No, you're not.
Oh, good. Okay, that's my problem. I'm not sharing. Okay. Well, I shouldn't have tried to be fancy.
Where is the document naming standard?
It's under
It's under
the
ed,
12-9 meeting.
So I
Under
see three
meetings.
documents.
Yes.
um,
So yes,
report, document storage, and substantive changes to project plan summary.
down near the bottom.
the
But
document standard,
so
naming standard could,
in the 12-9 meeting, I just see three documents and none of them says naming standard.
okay, what do you see?
I see report, which is the slideshow you're giving, document storage.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you for rescuing me.
Actually, I
Okay.
think what
You
you
wouldn't-
wanted is in the administrivia.
It is,
Directory.
but it is. But I did a shortcut over into the 12-9 meeting.
Ah.
So you should be able to get to it that way, right, Jeff?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
And where in this document is the naming portion? Communications rules. Yeah, I'm not seeing the document.
Can you do it, Tom?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Tom.
You
Hopefully
wouldn't
this
believe
will
I
be
ever worked
larger
in
now.
IT, would you? Thank you, Tom.
Okay, let me get that a little bit larger. So you want to talk through it?
You can.
Okay, well, the idea is that we wanted a generalized way of referring to documents so that somebody who's not familiar with the process could actually decode what this particular document was about. This follows some naming standards in standards organizations that I've worked in. But basically, you first two characters identify what committee it's from, and these are proposed. And no one need follow this but us, but we decided to make the bylaws subcommittee do that. If anybody else wants to do that, that'd be nice, but obviously we can't require anybody to do something else. But other categories might be general meeting, steering subcommittee, nominations, treasurer's reports. It'll just make it easier to find things. Then sort of a standardized subject of the document, such as agenda, meetings, as you can see them here. That would be a further way of determining what is, and then a specific title. A lot of times, for instance, in agenda, it doesn't even need it. Doesn't need a title, but for
Hello? Excuse me, guys. I can't see anything if you're showing something.
It says I'm showing
you're
something.
viewing Tom Seep's screen, but I see nothing. Blank.
Oh,
Anybody else
anybody
have
else?
that problem?
Yeah, I can see
No,
Tom's screen.
I see it just fine.
See it.
I can see Tom's screen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so a little cluttered because I don't have I didn't have it in Word. It's just showing up from the website, literally. So anyway, the subject and then a title. For instance, if we have an editorial change to a particular section proposed, we would have that mentioned there. And then then the key here for revision number, as things change over time. For instance, the comments on section Article 3, for instance, has many different revisions. People will be able to tell which is the most current by that R number in the back. And of course, our numbers start with 0 because this is a revision, and the original is 0 revisions. And there's an example down at the bottom there.
Can I jump in with a little addition here?
Sure.
So the importance of this naming convention is that the bylaws committee has already been and probably will continue to generate a lot of documents, like a lot of written stuff. And it's very possible that this community plan steering committee will eventually be generating a lot of documents too. And we need to make sure that all those documents are available to the public. But you all have to have access to these. And for instance, if you look at the most recent bylaws committee meeting entry in the meeting minutes page on the website, I have added a documents link, and I'm going to add a link like that to any meeting that has collateral, like documents associated with it. And so the reason we have this naming standard is so that if you happen to be interested in the bylaws process, or in the future in the community plan standing process, you can go look at the documents associated with that meeting, or you in fact have access to their entire directory of documents that any member of the NCAC can go look at those documents and find out what the or like be able to find the documents that you want to look at and look at them. So that's why this naming standard is important.
Thank you. And by the key thing in here, besides the title, is this R number at the end. So you can find what the latest revision is at the end. So like a document that I was meaning to show you before that's coming up is going to be Rev 6. So thank you, Tom. I'm going to try again. I think if you could release this one, I'm going to go to the next one and hopefully the best here. Oh, can you stop your screen sharing, Tom, please?
I did.
No, you did. Okay. It says I am.
You're sharing, Nancy. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go into the next document here, which is a document storage system that Tom also set up with some of our input. But this is something that Jeff was alluding to here too, that we're trying to make all of our documents available to you, because I'm sure everybody wants to see every bylaws document that we are producing. But it shows you our library and through the Google Doc, and this is on the library. So we have it set up with how we administer different kinds of things, like the document you just saw. All of our meeting documents are in here, and we've tried to do, Jeff has taught us about shortcuts to be able to have the same document going to different areas. So you could go to a meeting and see what we discussed at any given meeting. I'm currently in the meeting for today. As we go into our different article amendments, we will be posting everything under the different categories for the bylaws. So we've been working quite a bit on the meetings article, which we'll be going into in a moment. But you can find all of our documents regarding all of that. So we're being as transparent as possible, also for ourselves, because this is pretty complex. And then as we do a new bylaws draft, we will be actually putting it under current bylaws draft. Can everybody see this document?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And so in other bylaws, CAC bylaws, you can go in there and find all of the drafts or bylaws from other Tillamook County CACs. We also have a comments area. So anytime any of you make a comment, we need to document that. And we're going to be talking about what opportunities you're going to have to be able to provide us with those comments.
Can I add something there? That the comment is specifically about if you have something about the current bylaws that you wish to have changed, that's the process for doing it. So that comments form is really critical for us to be able to process things.
Right.
Nancy and Jeff, this is the other Tom, and
Hi, Tom.
as I've said before in this process, the least important Tom.
No.
But
Probably not.
I'm on the NCAC website, and it's unclear to me where you find these documents. Can you explain or describe?
So the top level link, we haven't put that up yet, but we should do that like right away. For specifically the meeting, if you go to the I don't have it.
I've gone to the there's a more elaborate site for all of the meetings. I've gone to the bylaw committee's minutes, for example, for the last meeting, so I can find the minutes. But
so do you see the entry where it says documents at the end of the line for the last meeting?
No,
I
Okay.
don't know that we put that on for the last one yet. We have it for the September 17th meeting, and then I have been remiss in getting them up for the December 1st.
in
meetings.
any event, that's where it's going to be. It's going to be clear.
Right. So
Okay.
thank you, Tom, for pointing that out. You are correct. The last step of making it easily accessible, we still need to connect that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for raising that. So I'm going to try to get out of this one now and go without completely getting, see if I can just do that and not completely destroy everything. Okay. So go back into this, get back to my presentation. So in the 12-1 meeting. Nope, wrong meeting. Too many meetings. Am I still screen sharing?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so you guys can kind of see we have bylaws, library meetings, and then going into this meeting and then have the documents for that meeting in there. So once we have the link in for you guys to be able to get to it. Okay, so we are looking at a committee blog. So where Sarah is going to be investigating whether we're going to be able to do this legally, but because of Oregon public meeting law, we have to limit our comments to just between one of us at a time. And we'd like to be able to have comments among committee members without and have those transparent so that everybody could see it. And we think that would make us more productive to be able to have a document on there and then be able to have the blog where the committee members are authorized to be able to comment and then open to members to view. So I don't know, Sarah, if you have any updates for us on whether we can do this, I'll just ask.
Thank you, Nancy. I am preparing to send an email to you with some clarification. It's just, again, with the storms this week and our shift in priorities. But yes, it is on its way. You'll see it shortly.
Okay, thank you. So to be announced. And then we've also been establishing multiple ways of communicating with our committee. So there is now a new email address to be able to get anything to me directly. And you can also, if you don't hear from me, you can email the NCAC and they will get to me. So the general NCAC email that's on the website. We are soon to be releasing a comment form that currently is mainly for comments on bylaws changes, but we were also expanding that if you have other kinds of comments that you would like to make. So that's soon to be released. You are also welcome to attend one of our meetings and comment in the meeting. We have a public comment section at the end of each meeting. And we've appreciated Roger's comments and Hillary's comments as they've come, as well as Tom. I can't pronounce your name, Tom Prohovidich. Anyway, you are muted. And then we will be having bylaws review workshops as we get in more of the substantive work.
It's either Prohodich or Prohodich. You say
Okay.
tomato, I say tomato.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
If you
Prohodich.
get close, and you did, I always tell people it's very easy. My name's Tom.
Okay. Thank you. We have another Tom, that's why.
Yeah, I know.
And then now getting into, so this is a lot of the boilerplate we've been working on to have structure and transparency and organization. We have also been spending probably the majority of our time working on substantive changes. Well, let me get into the project plan first. We have established a timeline and committee assignments by bylaws category. We've assigned each area to one or two committee members, and we've drafted the initial proposal. As we go through a substantive change, we will be drafting an initial proposal by those one or two people. And again, Tom has come up with a template for us to be able to draft that proposal. I'm not going to show that today, but you can find it on our website. We will then discuss the proposal by this one or two people as a committee, and we'll document as we go along. Some of these different categories are simple, some of them are more complex, and then we plan to report progress at each NCAC meeting. So I want to go in and show the project plan. Let's see if I can do that. I'm not sure why it takes us all the way back, but okay, so we still need to get some of Tom's in here, Tom, but this just shows you an example of by the bylaws change. Each of these section names is a section of the bylaws by Robert's Rules of Order and section number. And then I just threw out complexity, and this may change as we get into them, and the estimated number of committee meetings. And a timeline. We are really hoping to be able to have a vote on the bylaws in April. And then, but this just gives you an example. We started optimistically thinking that maybe we could do the membership part in 3 meetings. We're now thinking maybe 5 if we're lucky. It is a big one, but that doesn't mean we can't be working on the other areas simultaneously. So like the name is pretty simple. The object is important, but fairly simple. The officers are a little more moderate, for example, on defining those, and there may be a few changes we're going to suggest. Subcommittees are going to be fairly substantial. So parliamentary authority is fairly simple, for example. So this just gives you an example of our kind of our timeline, our assignments, and how we're going about our business. Are there any questions about the process or the project plan? Okay, let's get back to the presentation. Really, let's get back to the presentation, people. Okay, no more flitting around after this because it's not easy. Okay, so now the big one. We have been spending an incredible amount of time on the membership boundaries and voting sections. Sarah's attended several of these meetings and provided us some help. Tom has spent a lot of time working on the boundary of the NCAC boundaries in terms of they weren't defined clearly in the current bylaws. There's been a lot of confusion over them. And there are different kinds of boundaries. The NCA has a different set of boundaries. There's the official Tillamook County plan boundaries. There's our current general membership boundaries. So we're working on that, and we've received various types of input from people. From we should just do the more restrictive boundary, from the official plan that really is a much more limited boundary than the NCAC currently has. We're also working on who is a member, what is a resident, what is a business, et cetera, just doing those definitions. So when we have something, we are going to have a special meeting with everybody's, you have a chance to hear what we are coming up with and be able to comment in a more general special meeting, and lots of opportunity for that. So right now we're not prepared to talk about any of the decisions or what we're talking about, but you are welcome to go into our minutes, our videos. I neglected to video the November 17th meeting, but the minutes are extensive on that. And otherwise, you can see what we're looking at with all the documentation. And then we go into the bylaws approval. This is just a repeat of what we did last time. We'll be proposing most likely in one chunk the different bylaws. And we work with Sarah and Tillamook County as well as the officers, and of course gathering your input. And if we can get through all of that by April, then we can start working on some policies and procedures which are more detailed than bylaws, more easily changed than bylaws, and possibly standing rules. But that may have to go into next year. We'll see. We're emphasizing quality over speed, although we want to be able to get it done. Transparency, again, hopefully April for the bylaws vote, and possibly June for policies and procedures. Any comments? Michael.
Yes, I just want to make a quick note. The difference between bylaws and standing rules and procedures is that standing rules and procedures are temporary by design. They can be changed at any time by a majority vote of the body. But bylaws are, of course, meant to be solid and stick around for a while. So policies and procedures are simply a manner of how we're going to do things. Bylaws are the reasons and limitations and such requirements about the organization. That's all. Thank
you, Michael. That's good clarification. I also want to just say again, every member of our committee has been very active. It's just a terrific group, and we also really appreciate the input of people who care to come and sit through our meetings and talk. So,
Nancy,
and I just want to mention just a second, Guy, that Jeff has posted the links to the Google Drive for you, and he'll also Guy.
Nancy, I guess I'm following this and certainly appreciate incredible work here. I can't help but think about how it parallels what we're doing with the community plan and updating the community plan. And just in terms of process, I'm also very interested in what Sarah comes back with, the blog idea, because in the community planning committee, that's been a struggle for us. How do we make comments and things like that and moving along without violating public meeting law? So I think it's something, I don't know how long you need, Tom, on your committee, but I mean, it's something that we may want to think about in terms of process. I wish Rand were still on. I don't know if any other member of the committee is on, but I just listening to all this and the incredible structure and work, and when you're dealing with, I mean, a lot of people think of the bylaws as maybe not quite as complex. It's certainly not as complex as the community planning process that we're going to go through. And it just seems that adding a structure like this and an ability to involve the community in ways through that process, structured process. I don't know, this sounds very interesting to me. So it's something I think we need to explore further.
If you want to put me on.
I think you weren't here for the last meeting, probably, Guy, but when Tom talked about his qualifications, but let me just say that we are incredibly fortunate to have Tom. I don't know if we're willing to share, but I guess we have to leave that up to Tom.
If you want to put me on the agenda, just let me know when the meeting is. I'll do what I can to help.
And he is just truly amazing. We are so fortunate. So.
That's great. Thank you very much.
So, Mark.
Yeah.
I just got, I heard from Guy. Guy, you can unmute yourself again. That apparently there was a communication that missed at some point that the water board would like to present, and I guess I want to ask Guy. I see Troy's here too, and Troy, what they want to present about, so that we can.
That's what I was wondering.
If it's not something that like we really needed to notice, then I think it's no problem.
No, it's just it's an update to the community about an activity in the water district.
Okay.
So Troy, do you want to go? Troy, do you want to start? And also, Alex Sifford is on, and Alex, as you will discover here shortly, has been intimately involved in this process. I think Brenda Freshman is also on this call, and she has been also an important participant in the process that you're going to hear about. Troy?
Hi, everybody. Let's see, I'll start this out. I kind of wanted to be quick and to the point. The Nesquin Water District's been working for a while on, and many of you might know, on the acquisition of watershed land. So we finally closed on a property in the watershed. We all thought it would be important to tell the community. So we have purchased a piece of property for conservation for water protection values. And just wanted to put it out there to the community. I'm sure Guy could speak more about it. But the ball is rolling. We are doing what we can to protect the district's watershed in perpetuity. So that's my update for the community. I'm sure Guy could add some stuff. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask, and then maybe we can answer. Yeah.
Alex, you want to say something?
Absolutely. May even show a video here somewhere. But first off, I sent a link out from the Water District website. It's on the front page announcing the details of the recent purchase, number one. And number two is a partner that we have in this, which I'm also sending a link out to everyone, is the North Coast Land Conservancy, who's been very helpful in fundraising and in doing some of the transactional work with their attorneys. So anyway, it's pretty straightforward. As Guy and Troy have pointed out, we bought our first piece of land, and dreaming large, we'd like to buy 10 times as much or 20 times as much and get the whole watershed. That would be the long-term goal. And more as we know it. Again, great work by members of the community wrestling up some money to pay for this small piece, and it'll take a lot more.
Right. Yes, I encourage people to look at the Water District Board website. This overall goal was started years ago when Gene Cameron was the chair of the Water District Board. I think that's when it all started. Alex and I, back in those days, were acting as consultants to the Water District, recommending ownership or control of all of what is referred to as the source water area. Nesquin draws all of its drinking water. It's from surface water. Almost all of that surface water runs through industrial timberland. I think probably most of you are aware of some of the issues along the Oregon coast with that. Some communities are very public in their struggle with industrial timber owners and how those lands are managed. We can't expect industrial timber lands to be managed to protect water. That's not their purpose. So if we are going to have an impact and protect Nesquin's water, then we have to own and control and manage that land. And that's the intent, and that's the goal. As Alex said, we have a good partner in North Coast Land Conservancy. We have local owners who we've been working with, and that's who our first purchase came from. The major owner in our watershed, in our source water area, is Weyerhaeuser. Prior to that, it was Hancock, and we were making progress with Hancock. And when it shifted over to Weyerhaeuser, we started discussions with them, thanks to the help of one of our local property owners here in Nesquin, and that's going to continue. It's a matter of money, eventually, and that's what we're working towards. So hopefully, as we move forward, and as we talk about the community plan and Nesquin moving forward, water is at the key. Sarah will be the first to tell you that's one of the criteria before anything is developed. Is there enough water in the system to serve the community? So we want to make sure that's protected. So that's what we're doing as we move forward, and you'll be hearing more. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call, contact Troy or Alex or me or Brenda, and we can talk further about this. Thanks all.
Thanks for that, Troy, Guy, and Alex. And I think a great suggestion to check the website for the water board and read that. So thanks very much for that information. Before we close here, I think that's the end of our agenda for today. And so before we adjourn, I just want to say that I see that Sarah has put something in the chat that says Chris Lady has confirmed anyone can open the gate. This is the egress road gate. Does not currently have a feature to ensure it stays open and does not close. They're looking a long-term solution to ensure the gate stays open. And he said for now, a big rock could probably do it. So, so that's more information on the gate. Thanks, Sarah and Chris.
Mark, if I may.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Alex.
From a practical standpoint, the gate stays open. It has been opened and used over the last week quite extensively. So it's very easy, user friendly.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. I think if there's no other questions or comments, we'll adjourn the meeting this morning and look forward to seeing everybody either at the special meeting or the next general meeting, which will be on the website. Jeff, anything else in closing that you might have?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. All right, we'll adjourn the meeting at 11:17 then. And thanks, everybody, and have a great holiday.